The following podcast contains mature subject matter, adult themes, and may also contain profanity. You have been warned.
Hi everyone, hello and welcome back to The Absurd. This is a podcast about things that are absurd, things that are funny, freaky and frightening, old histories and mysteries, and just strange old goings-on, old and new, borrowed and blue.
Borrowed and blue.
Yeah, that's like from that wedding thing, you know?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, that smell over there.
That smell.
No, I won't do that again. That is Mel. Hi, Mel.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Good.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not going to talk about food.
No.
Wow.
Okay.
We probably will,
All
but
right.
we're not going to right now.
Okay.
So things are good? You had a good day at work?
Well, it was a day at work.
Was it?
Let's put it that way.
Hey, I heard you had a bit of a tumble this weekend. Bit of a spill. Mel did a spill.
Yeah.
Lay it on us. Tell us all about it.
I was getting a casserole dish from up in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And I'm not very tall.
No, you're not.
So I had to get a chair out.
All
Just
right.
a regular kitchen chair.
Yeah.
Got the dish out.
Oh.
As I was stepping down, I don't know, I just lost my balance or something. And so it was kind of like a slow-mo fall.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, here I go. And all I could think of was like, don't drop the dish. I didn't want to break the casserole dish.
Did you?
No.
Oh, good job.
And the island was right there.
Yeah.
So I reached out and grabbed the island. And then I thought, these are all the things going through my head as I'm falling. I'm like, oh God, this is going to hurt my shoulder. But I'm like, I don't want to drop the dish, but I don't want to land on the floor.
No, because a dish is irreplaceable.
I've had that dish for a really long time,
Oh,
and I
wow.
like it.
There you go.
So I went down. I went down. Yeah, I hit the floor pretty hard.
Like, where did you land? Like, what did you land on?
Tile.
No, dumbass. I meant like your bum, your head.
Yeah, it was like kind of the right side because the dish was in my right hand, and I was holding on to the island with my left.
Yeah.
And I just kind of fell back and landed, and then I just laid flat on the floor for a minute. Addison comes around the corner, my daughter, and she's like looking at me with shock because like, why
What are
is
you doing
Mom
down
laying
there?
on the floor?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, Mom. And I'm like, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Your arms weren't bent at the elbow, straight up and kind of twitching?
No.
Okay, because that means, traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I didn't hit my head. Did not hit my head.
Yeah.
It was like tailbone, hip that took the most of it.
Is your island built in?
No.
Oh, so it rolls?
It doesn't roll.
Oh, okay.
No, it doesn't roll. But
Because that
if
would have
you-
been pretty hilarious.
No, if you pushed it hard enough, you could shift it. Like,
Right,
it's
okay.
Not,
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so that was my experience. So I'm
cool.
kind of sore today,
Oh, yeah.
but
Well, I'm glad you're not like badly hurt,
yeah,
obviously.
I know. Especially for my age, I usually would hurt myself if I fall.
What kind of casserole?
It was a scallop potato and beef mixture.
God. Mixing beef with scalloped potatoes?
Yeah.
Kind of curious. I want the recipe.
Okay.
I don't really like scalloped potatoes.
You would like mine.
Everybody says that. You don't, my favorite here we are talking about food.
I know.
My favorite scalloped potatoes, I'm going to get killed for this,
Yes.
are the ones in a box.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they are amazing. But I grew up with scalloped potatoes. It's a Waterloo County dish.
Yeah.
So I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't make that noise, but
No.
I have. But not all the time.
I don't like the traditional way of doing scalloped potatoes, or how I remember Mom doing them. Where it's like you put a layer down, you sprinkle some flour, put a bit of butter, pepper, repeat.
Do you put onions in there or potatoes?
Some onions. Well, yes, potatoes, obviously.
Okay.
But I didn't like I don't like that style. I make like a cheese sauce thing.
Okay, we're talking.
And then I pour them over the scalloped potatoes. They're divine.
Well, so scalloped potatoes and beef. I don't know. Putting beef in a casserole sounds a bit blasphemous.
Yeah, I've never done that before.
You should never do it again.
I saw it on Facebook or something, so I thought I'd try. And
like beef or ground beef?
Ground beef.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know why I envision like pieces of roast beef because I'd have to kill you on general principle.
No.
Because that'd be a waste. Shameful waste. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, it was good. And then I had some biscuits with it. It was good.
Like Red Lobster biscuits?
Well, not Red Lobster. But
you ever had them?
Kind of. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Anyway. Good thing we're not talking about food at all.
Yeah, good thing.
You know?
Good thing.
Hey, I got a couple of shouty-outy things.
Do it.
I will. You tell me what to do.
I did.
So first off, as you probably saw in our emails, that was my ankle that just cracked. Sounded awesome, didn't it?
It's great.
Yeah, it is. So, well, first off, I want to say welcome home to two of my friends, and who are also very faithful listeners, and one who has purchased some of our swag, our merch. Welcome home to Jessica and Becky. They were in Ireland for the past 2 weeks. Sorry, Ireland. And they, I gave them some of our cards, and they posted them about the island.
About
the island? Awesome. So Jessica will share with me her pics that she took of said things.
Cool.
Yeah. But also, as I was saying, we got an email from one Valerie Gibson in Chester, England.
Oh.
She says she loves the show and our accents.
And our accents.
I would say that we don't have accents. It is you, Ms. Valerie Gibson, who has the accent.
Right.
That's actually pretty close to Wales.
Yeah.
In England. Not the whales like, ooh, not like I imitated last time. Like the blue whales are.
Right.
Or, by the way, I just saw this. Marineland is dismantling their big tanks.
Oh, yeah?
It's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
About time.
I know. Do you know how many like beluga whales have died there in the past number of years?
I don't know.
It's bullshit, man.
Yeah, it's sickening.
Like, I'm not entirely against zoos. Some animals actually do very well in captivity. Sure. And if it means conservatism, awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but whales? No, man.
No.
Or dolphins? Get them back in the water, damn it.
Yeah, and I don't like it. I've never been there. Have you?
Yeah, but not forever. Like,
never ever been.
Over 45 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
Remember my cousin when she was a wee little girl getting dummied by a deer? It was pretty funny, actually. I probably was there a couple of times in my life.
Yeah.
But no, not forever, and I'm against it. And they're dicks. They were supposed to be shut down forever ago, but they're friends of Ford. So they didn't get shut down when they were supposed to.
Got it.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you think is the largest fast food chain in the world?
In the world?
Like this world.
As opposed to what other type of world?
All the other worlds out there.
I don't know. I want to say McDonald's,
then why don't you make that your answer?
I don't know if that's it, though.
Well, better than not answering.
But let's do it.
Can you say McDonald's?
Sure.
That's wrong.
Yes, I know.
Actually, I've never heard of it. It's called Mixue, Mixue, and it's an iced coffee and tea place.
Oh.
They have 45,000 locations. McDonald's has about 41,000. 40,000 of those Mixue locations are all in China.
I was going to say, it doesn't sound like an Americanized place, but hey, I'm sure they're around somewhere.
Could be good, dude.
Could be.
And could be here before you knows it.
Knows it.
But what do you think the number one fast food chain is in the United States of America? Would you still...
White Castle or something?
Ew,
I don't know.
No,
Jack in the Box? Subway.
McDonald's is number 2. Well, Subways are cheap, right? You don't need a big kitchen.
That's true.
You barely need a kitchen.
Yeah.
You don't even need a kitchen. And less staff.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth about fast food. Do you like Subway?
I don't hate it.
Mr. Sub is better.
Yep.
And it's Canadian.
Quiznos. But there's hardly any left.
Yeah, they suck. They're American.
You suck.
You suck. Actually, they were pretty good. Yeah, so I think that's the end of my noteses.
Your noteses?
Yeah. You got some stories for us?
Yeah.
Or a story for us? Why don't you bring it on home?
Sure. You like beer, right?
Like beer?
Like beer.
I don't know that I've ever had it.
Beer?
Yeah, like I've... maybe.
Just
Maybe once.
maybe
No,
a
I
sip.
do love it. I admit that I have quite a yen for beer.
All right.
Why? Is this going to bring me down?
No.
Oh, good.
No. This is actually some of the biggest parties in British history.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like their drinking stories. They're
Bring
good.
it. And they have great beer.
Yes.
Oof.
Admiral Edward Russell's 17th century throwdown. Think you like to drink like a sailor? Maybe you should take a moment to reflect on what that truly means. The record for history's largest cocktail belongs to British Lord Admiral Edward Russell. In 1694, he threw an officers' party that used a garden fountain as the punch bowl.
Whoa.
The concoction? A mixture that included 250 gallons of brandy, 125 gallons of Malaga wine, which is a dessert wine from Spain.
Yep.
1,400 pounds of sugar. What? 2,500 lemons. 20 gallons of lime juice and 5 pounds of nutmeg.
Nutmeg?
A series of bartenders actually paddled around in a small wooden canoe,
Get lost.
filling up guests' cups. Not only that, but they had to work in 15-minute shifts to avoid being overcome by the fumes and falling overboard.
Yeah.
The party continued nonstop for a full week, pausing only briefly during rainstorms to erect a silk canopy over the punch to keep it from getting watered down.
Yeah.
In fact, the festivities didn't end until the fountain had been drunk completely dry.
Jeez.
That's quite the party,
When
man.
was that? Did it say when that was?
1694.
Oh, crap. I was hoping there'd be a picture of it.
No.
That would be freaking amazing.
I know,
We
right?
should reenact that.
Yeah. You should. You could probably find something anyway.
We'll start a GoFundMe
Yeah.
to pay for all the booze and
Yeah.
even 5 pounds of nutmeg. What's that cost?
That's...
It's a lot of nutmeg, dude.
That little tiny one you get at the grocery
I
store
know.
is like $10.
Good thing it's not 5 gallons of real vanilla.
All right.
Okay. Please continue.
The
That's
next
awesome.
one is the London Brunami of 1814.
I think I hate and love this.
The Industrial Revolution wasn't all steam engines and textile mills. Beer production increased exponentially as well. Fortunately, the good people of England were up to the challenge and drained kegs as fast as they were made. Brewery owners became known as beer barons, and they spent their newfound wealth in an age-old manner by trying to party more than the next guy. Case in point, 1814, Moe's Horseshoe Brewery in London constructed a brewing vat that was 22 feet tall and 60 feet in diameter, with an internal big enough to seat 200 for dinner, which is exactly how its completion was celebrated. Why 200? Because a rival had built a vat that seated 100. After the dinner, the vat was filled to its 4,000 barrel capacity. Pretty impressive given the grand scale of the project.
Were the people still in there when they filled it?
Maybe, that'd be fun.
To a point.
But pretty unfortunate given that they had overlooked a faulty supporting hoop.
Uh-oh.
Yep, the vat ruptured,
Beauty.
causing other vats to break, and the resulting commotion was heard up to 5 miles away.
Oh.
A wall of 1.3 million gallons of dark beer washed down the street, caving in 2 buildings and killing 9 people.
Oh my God.
By means of drowning, injury, poisoning by the porter fumes, or drunkenness.
Wow,
The
really?
story gets even more unbelievable, though. Rescue attempts were blocked and delayed by the thousands who flocked to the area to drink directly off the road.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, when in Rome.
I guess. Or in London.
London.
Yeah.
And when survivors were finally brought to the hospital, the other patients became convinced from the smell that the hospital was serving beer to every ward except theirs. A riot broke out.
No way.
And even more people were left injured.
Oh my God.
Sadly,
that's awesome.
this incident was not deemed tragic enough at the time to merit an annual memorial service or reenactment.
Oh man, they should. It's pretty tricky to reenact that. That is awesome. I'd never heard of that.
In 1609, the Dutch sent English explorer Henry Hudson westbound for a third attempt at finding the fabled Northeast Passage. A nearby mutiny forced him southbound, and upon reaching land, he encountered members of the Delaware tribe. To foster good relations, Hudson shared his brandy with the tribal chief, who soon passed out. But upon waking up the next day, he asked Hudson to pour some more for the rest of his tribe. From then on, the indigenous referred to the island as
Come on.
a big fancy word.
No, let's hear it.
Manachachnataniak.
Oh my God, that was perfect.
Yeah, sure. Literally means the high island.
Really?
And not high as in tall,
Right.
in the place where we got blotto.
Nice.
Most people would agree that Manhattan has stayed true to the spirit of its name ever since.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I have one more.
Yeah, let's hear it. These are good.
This one's called The Worst Aftertaste in History.
Uh,
In 1805, British Admiral Horatio Nelson was killed during the Battle of Trafalgar off the coast of Spain.
yep.
Most sailors were simply put to rest at sea, but as an admiral, Nelson had to be brought back to England for an official burial. To preserve his body during the voyage home, the second-in-command stored Nelson's body in the ship's vat of rum and halted all liquor rations to the crew.
Yeah, fair.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But when the ship reached port, officials went to retrieve Nelson's body and found the vat dry. Disregarding good taste, in every sense, the crew had been secretly drinking from it the entire way home. After that, naval rum was referred to as Nelson's blood.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I lied. I have one more.
Oh, dude. But first, actually,
Yeah.
So Nelson was like 5.5 feet tall.
Oh, yeah?
But the statue of him in London is like 17 feet tall.
Okay.
That's her ratio of 3-to-1. Get it?
I got it.
Okay, give me your next
Yeah,
one.
that's great.
That's awesome. Gold.
This one's about Indian elephants that raided a liquor cabinet.
Really?
Yeah.
Buggers.
No wonder they don't sell beer at the circus. Apparently, elephants like to get wasted. In fact, an outpost in the Indian Army in the jungle region of Bagadora has been under attack ever since a local herd of elephants raided the base in search of food and discovered the soldiers' entire winter rations of rum. Mm-hmm. Since then, the elephants have regularly raided the base for a drink and have smashed down all defenses put up by the army, including electrified fences and firewalls. They want their booze, man.
I get it.
According to the Daily Telegraph, an official recently posted there explaining that the elephants broke the rum bottles by cleverly curling their trunks around the bottom. Then they empty the contents down their throats. They soon got drunk, he said, and swayed around. They enjoy themselves and then return to the jungle. This is by no means a singular incident, though. Huh. The animal kingdom is well known for its ability to identify fruit that has become fermented. Anthropologists even believe this is how early man discovered alcohol, by observing the strange behavior of animals on a fruit bender.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to, like, I don't know, be beside a drunk elephant when it decided like it was time to pass out.
No, probably not.
Know? Elephants are awesome, man.
They are awesome.
They're one of my favorite animals.
Yeah. They are pretty cool.
And giraffes, too. I like giraffes a lot. Mm-hmm. You know? Get that down your neck. That was cool, man. I didn't know about any of those incidents. That's, I think I like the first one the best.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because it's so outrageously decadent. Yeah, I'm going to try to find something about that. Okay. Like something pictographical.
All right. Pictographical.
Yeah, good one, man. Good stories. I'm going to give you my... It's not really sad per se, but it's kind of like macabre. I'm going to do that story. And then I'll end with the lesser macabre. Cool?
Cool.
All right.
Give it to me.
Gather round, y'all. So, Hedviga Golik was a former nurse who lived in Zagreb in what is now Croatia. It's actually the capital of Croatia. Good beer in Croatia. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. She resided in an 18 square meter, 190 square feet, one-room attic apartment, isolated from the lower floors of the four-story building since 1961. The flat was provided by the building superintendent, who was formerly her boyfriend. Both were Jehovah's Witnesses, and it was reported that Hinkovic had been involved in the construction of the building, having received the attic apartment in lieu of payment. She was known to have a sister who worked as a school teacher in Zagreb, but they reportedly broke off contact due to quarreling. So this woman lived in this apartment. Her neighbor, Katica Kerik, described Golik as eccentric and prone to mood swings. She switched between being quiet and reclusive and extremely belligerent and hectic. She never socialized with other tenants, but was known for yelling at people for any reason and aimlessly running around the street. This could be me in a couple of years.
I like it.
Yeah. She often had angry outbursts, even when she was helped, and it was suspected that Golik was schizophrenic. Kerik ran errands for her, such as buying groceries, but they never talked, as Golik would not leave her floor, instead lowering a bucket with money and a written list down the stairs with the items to be dropped off on Golik's doorstep. Golik often left for extended periods, during which time she rented the apartment out to others. Her neighbor Kerik was claimed to have last seen Golik outside her apartment in company of 2 or 3 young men, the date being quoted as either 1963, 1967, or 1973. It's quite a variation.
Wow, that's a big gap.
Yeah. In 1966, Golik prepared a cup of tea for herself and settled down to watch television in her apartment. At some point, she died. She had told her neighbors that she would be leaving for an indeterminate amount of time. Common rumors were that she joined a sect in Macedonia, while others assumed that she had moved out to live with relatives in Belgrade. Residents did not enter Golik's apartment, stating upon the discovery of her body, "We were afraid to enter the apartment earlier so as not to violate the tenancy agreement." I don't know what that means. Zagreb police stated that Golik was never officially reported missing, but they did have a record of her disappearance through a neighbor from 1973. Now remember, she died in 66, right? Mm-hmm. So they had a record of her disappearance through a neighbor issued in 1973, 7 years later.
Okay. An
informal search for Golik in the early 1970s across Yugoslavia was unsuccessful. No family ever came forward. Got to remember, all these countries like Serbia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia, Montenegro, they were all part of a country called Yugoslavia, which broke up in 1990 or early 90s. Apparently the residents had noticed Golik's death as early as 1981, as a loan settlement was paid for by them. The death was not reported, however, as her neighbors argued over who would get ownership of Golik's apartment. The tenants believed that each of them had the right to at least 1 square meter, 11 square feet. Some had argued that the apartment was not owned by her to begin with, but the private dispute continued. In 1991, tenant representative Mirko Horvatic, I love saying these names, reported the apartment as abandoned to city authorities, but received no response due to the onset of the Yugoslav wars. Contradicting later police assertions, Horvatic stated that Golik was known to have been missing for 25 years by this point. In 1998, someone attached the following handwritten note, signed as City of Zagreb Census Commission, to the flat's front door. The note read, "Based on the law on inheritance for tenants, H. Golik was left without ownership, inheritance. Until the resolution of ownership rights, the tenants cannot take possession of the apartment, and any attempt to claim it is a criminal offense. The true author was not the city, but was rather an anonymous resident, but the neighbors believed the message and ceased their attempts to lay claim to the abode. In 2008, the building complex was to be renovated into condominiums with the agreement of residents. Only Golik had not responded to the request. 3 representatives broke open the attic apartment's door on May 12, 2008, and discovered Golik's dead body lying on her bed, wrapped in blankets, in front of her TV. Her teacup, which she had been sipping from, remained on a table next to her chair. Nothing in her home had been disturbed, though it was adorned with numerous cobwebs. The police removed her body from her apartment. An autopsy was unable to determine her cause of death, nor the exact time. The time of death was initially believed to be in 1973. The Institute of Forensic Medicine and Criminal Statistics conducted the autopsy, concluding that she most likely died during a cold season and that the isolated position of the apartment allowed the decomposition to go unnoticed and mummification set in. While the windows of the apartment were found open, Deputy Institute Representative Davor Strinovic said that the smell of rot should have been noticeable during the early stages.
You'd think.
Which neighbors claimed only became noticeable when the apartment was unlocked. A police spokesperson stated, "So far we have no idea how it is possible that someone officially reported missing so long ago was not found before in the same apartment she used to live in." No shit.
Oh my God.
The electricity was not turned off in the roughly 40 years since Golik's death. The bill was regularly paid by the original architect of the building, also residing in Zagreb, who died in 2005.
Jeepers.
So you did a search all across Yugoslavia, but never once thought to check in her where she lived.
Right. Because why would we do that?
And that would strike me as the most
logical.
The best place to start.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, she's not in here. Let's search the rest of the country.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
That's wild, man. So she was dead for 42 years in her
Before
apartment.
they found her.
TV still on. I wonder if the tea would have still been good to drink.
Well, I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't do it either.
I mean,
imagine how eerie that would be. And the whole place full of cobwebs.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Ugh, gross.
I know.
And how they didn't smell anything.
Well, yeah.
That's a weird one.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, I agree. But obviously they didn't, right? Like, or at least they didn't say they didn't. No, wait. At least what? Yeah, they didn't say anything about it.
They didn't say anything. Yeah.
But they're like fighting over, I get this 11 square feet. No, I want that 11 square feet. How do they do that?
Cabbage.
Were they going to take the walls out and like divide up the apartment? I don't get it.
No, that was weird too.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Life in Croatia. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my macabre story. You got one for us?
Yeah.
I'm pretty much on the edge of my seat. Let's hear it.
You know, I like a good old airplane story when people start going crazy on airplanes.
I would like it if I wasn't on it.
No, well,
so long as it's not the pilot.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, unless it's a pilot and co-pilot.
Well, yeah.
Hey guys, we just did acid. Yeah. No, that's not cool.
Look what I can do.
Yeah. Who wants to do loop-de-loop? No.
Stuart from Mad TV. Look what I can do.
I don't know it. Yeah, whatever, dude.
For shame.
Yeah, likewise for you with Arrested Development.
I tried watching it last week, and I couldn't.
You're lame.
I couldn't.
If you agree with me that Mel is lame for not liking Arrested Development, please contact us immediately. Okay, go on with your little airplane story. Is it a little airplane or a big airplane?
I'm not telling you.
Yeah, well, you actually literally are going to tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to cut it out.
You don't have any control over it.
A British Airways flight attendant went missing in action during a recent flight from San Francisco to London. When it came time to serve the in-flight meal, he was nowhere to be found. A search of the double-decker Airbus A380-800, there you go, by his fellow flight attendants revealed that he was having his own one-man party in the business class bathroom. The Sun reports that he was found completely naked and jigging up and down in the Club World cabin loo.
What does jigging up and down mean?
I don't know. I'm assuming it's a
like a dance thing.
I'm assuming I know what a jig is, so I guess
yeah, that's for fishing.
Dancing. Though. No, dance a jig. It's a newfie
right.
term.
Oh yeah, right.
But
jigging is also a fishing technique.
Yes, I know.
Anyways, continue, please.
Can I continue?
Can you? Yes.
Anyways, he was naked and dancing. All right.
Yeah. Who isn't?
Who hasn't lost track of time in a bathroom at work? That happens sometimes. What doesn't happen as often is allegedly taking some pills at work, then removing your clothes.
For the record, I have never lost time in the bathroom at work. Not ever. I'm keenly aware of my time. Okay, so he took pills. He's high.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of pills.
That's what his co-workers think went down anyways. One told the Sun, "We think the guy popped pills when he was meant to be working. It is an extraordinary thing to do. The plane is cruising at 37,000 feet over the Atlantic, but this bloke seemed to be higher than anyone else."
Yeah.
However, dancing naked in the bathroom earns you a first-class ticket to the waiting police.
And I'm guessing without a job, too.
Probably, yeah. The flight attendant found dancing naked in the bathroom was given a spare pair of pajamas reserved for first-class passengers, then buckled into a luxury seat in the first-class cabin. He remained there for the rest of the 10.5-hour flight, while the other flight attendants worked without breaks to cover his shift. Rather than asking passengers chicken or beef, he was stripping off and dancing in the toilet. It was a long time before he was located, and he was completely out of it, the man's coworker added. Not only is it really dangerous, it is a crazy way to end your career.
Yeah.
This job can do ridiculous things to people, but staging a one-man disco in a Club World toilet is a new one for me. Police were waiting for the plane when it landed at London's Heathrow. The one-man show was removed from the plane in a wheelchair. He received medical attention and was presumably arrested.
Yeah, like, why would you even think of doing that?
I don't know.
Like,
that's what makes me wonder. Like, did this dude, giving him the benefit of the doubt, he was going to take something to ease the time spread. It's a long flight. So taking something to relax him a little bit, but he took the wrong pill.
But you're at work.
And you're at work.
So, I mean, yeah, okay, it's a long flight, but it's not like it's not like you're one of the passengers who has to sit there and muddle through. Right. You got stuff to do. Which
oh shit, that's not my Xanax.
Yeah. God, those aspirin are good.
What kind of pills are gonna make you want to take your clothes off?
E.
Really?
Oh God, now what?
No,
yes.
actually, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I know what E is.
No, I'm just saying, but
I've never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's very lowers your inhibitions.
Right.
Very happy.
Yes. And very tactile, isn't it?
Term.
Like you just want to touch things and people. Like it's very.
I think it probably depends in that regard on the person. You're absolutely true ecstasy. You're not supposed to have any alcohol with.
Okay.
Because you people who take it, they're going to raves or doing a lot of dancing, right? Mm-hmm. So
this guy was doing his dancing,
right? Even more to the point. So, and that can really lower your electrolytes. Mm-hmm. Having E, so that's why you're supposed to drink fruit juice. Keep your electrolytes up because booze is not helping your electrolytes. Right. So that would be my guess. Yeah. It was obviously something that, motivated him.
I mean, I've partaken mm-hmm. in several, alcoholic beverages and a few other pills of choice, but never once have I ever thought of, hey, you know what would be great right now?
Yeah, getting naked in a...
I'm just going to get naked.
In the airplane bathroom?
Let's not even bring up the fact that he was working. I can't say I've ever done that. But yeah,
I've never really understood. Even in high school, some people would go to somebody's house at lunch or whatever and get loaded and come back to school. Why would you think that is not even a good idea?
Right.
Let's kick that to the curb.
Yeah.
How could you view that as fun?
I don't know.
Right? Like, It's like if I'm helping somebody move or work, I don't want beer during it.
No.
Nope. It's going to entirely rob me of my motivation. Afterwards, damn straight.
Yep.
Let's get into her.
Yeah.
But it never...
Keeping pants on, though, right?
Depends on the scene, I suppose. I've never gone pantless. And that's probably enough of that.
Okay, let's just move on.
Yeah. Hey, you have 2 kids.
I sure do.
And their names are Liam and Addison. Those are pretty good names.
Yeah.
You know,
they're all right.
Yeah, but they're acceptable names.
Yeah.
There's actually a subreddit. Reason I'm saying this here, I've got a story here about banned baby names.
Okay.
Names you cannot name your baby. And there's actually a subreddit called Tragedy, which is about that, except it's spelled Tragedih.
Okay.
Because it's names that might sound normal. Look at the spelling, you're like, what the
Yeah.
Okay, so the Japanese government revises law on kira names. Kira meaning banned names. On Monday, just last week, the Family Register Act was revised in Japan in an attempt to crack down on so-called kira, which translates as sparkly names,
Sparkly.
such as Pikachu. So you can't name your baby Pikachu in Japan. It means parents in Japan will no longer be free to choose whatever name they like for their child. Now, actually, I'm going to ask you first, what do you think of that? Do you think the government should be able to say you can't name your child this?
No.
Really?
No.
No matter what?
No matter what.
Okay. All right.
Unless it's really dumb.
So you do have a codicil in there. I do. I have zero problem with the government doing that. Because your child's going to grow up.
Sure.
Are they going to get the shit beat out of them every day at school because of their dumbass name? That's not their fault.
Sure. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
There's a lot of idiots in this world. Bullies are all idiots.
Yeah.
Why would you say, it's okay? I wouldn't. If you want to when you're an adult and you want to change your name to, I don't know, coffee table.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. Now it's your choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway. Now, if the pronunciation of their baby's name clearly deviates from convention, they'll be asked to spell it out in katakana, which is the print form, not the symbols.
Yeah.
During the registration process, local officials then have the power to reject that name if the phonetic sound doesn't match how its characters are typically pronounced. Around 3,000 or so kanji characters, and that's characters in Japan, are permitted by the revised law, but they must be pronounced clearly and in accordance with tradition. Names considered too disconnected from the characters used will be banned. The reason, according to the government, is that they can cause confusion in schools, hospitals, and other public institutions. It's also believed that children with kira names could face harassment. The rise in kira names towards the end of the 20th century was seen as part of a larger shift towards individualism in Japanese society. Now, in Canada, only BC and Quebec have laws designed to prevent parents giving names that may result in the child being bullied, though these laws are rarely enforced. In the late 90s, however, parents in Quebec were asked to change their baby's name because it was too similar to Ivory soap. The name was Ivory. The parents appealed, and they won, as they should.
Yeah.
Ivory's, I don't know if it's a name, but it's not outlandish.
No, it's not, actually.
It's like, your name is Toilet or something. Ontario also prevents names from containing symbols or numbers.
Right.
So Prince or Elon Musk's little bizarre child couldn't be named that here.
Right.
Here's some band names from around the world I looked into.
Okay.
In France, Nutella.
Nutella. Okay.
Get more of that. In Sweden, parents had to go to court for the rights to use the name Metallica, Lego, and Elvis.
What?
They all won. So they were able to. Now, Elvis strikes me as weird.
That is a weird
It
one.
is a name.
Because it's a name.
But it is an English name. Or that is to say, it may not be a name in Sweden.
Huh.
Or in Swedish.
Okay.
Right? But it is, actually, is weird. Lego. I love Lego.
Mm-hmm.
And Metallica. Well, I love Metallica, but I don't think I'd name my child
No, I
that.
don't
Here's
think
my
so.
here's my daughter Slayer. Yeah.
Here's my son Poison.
Oh, did you just mention Poison in the same time as Slayer?
Yeah, I did.
How about, this is my nephew, Megadeth. Like that one, yeah. Also in Sweden, parents lost their appeal to name their baby IKEA. In New Zealand, Prince, King, and Royal were the most commonly rejected names in 2018. When I worked at student transportation here, I did see the names Prince, King, and Emperor. They were all brothers.
Oh, really?
Oh, either that or
kidding.
they were penguins. I'm not sure
my
which, but
God.
that's awful. I don't think they were penguins.
Wow.
New Zealand's restrictions on putting punctuation in names didn't prevent one set of parents from trying to name their child a single period, like the punctuation mark. That's what they were going to name it, which they would have pronounced full stop. That's so stupid.
Stop. Oh my God.
Officials in Sonora, Mexico, released a list of names that were rejected by the government because they could lead to bullying, and these three were on it: RoboCop, great movie, Scrotum, and Facebook. Those were three band names.
Oh my God, what is wrong with people?
Parents in Germany tried to name their child Lucifer. I kind of like that one. Arguing that the word was Latin for light bringing, which it is.
That's not what I was thinking.
But the Association for the German Language called it inappropriate.
I wouldn't recommend that.
I don't know, man.
It'd be hard to get a job, and this is the CEO
would
of,
it? Maybe it would. Maybe it'd be like, you'd go in and you'd be like,
CEO of Walmart is Lucifer.
it would be in your best interest to hire me. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, here we barely notice the difference between Sarah with an H and Sarah sans H.
Yeah.
But in Morocco, one letter makes all the difference. Sarah with an H is banned because... Want to guess why? The spelling is too Hebrew.
Oh, God.
Parents would have to opt for Sarah without an H, the more Arabic version. Again, in New Zealand, when... This is awesome. Okay. This is the kid's name, all right?
Okay.
Again, in New Zealand, when Tallulah Does the Hula from Hawaii turned 9 and complained about her name in a family court hearing, her parents actually lost custody of her because the judge was so profoundly concerned about the very poor judgment. After the guardianship arrangement was altered, the girl was allowed to legally change her name. Yes, this girl's name was When Tallulah Does the Hula from Hawaii.
Oh, my God.
Like,
People are cracked, man.
lastly, and again in Sweden,
Yeah.
parents submitted this unpronounceable baby name in 1991 to protest a fine they received for failing to register a baby name by their child's 5th birthday.
Stop.
You stop. Supposedly, it was to be pronounced Albin, Albin.
Okay.
Would you like to know how it was spelled, their version?
dear. Okay.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
BRFXXCCXMNPCCCCLLLMMNPRXVCLMNCKSSQLBB1116. If you can pronounce that, I will give you $1. I don't want to take the risk. But like, what like?
Holy.
What
is wrong with people?
I don't know, man. Because they're people.
I saw. It's funny you bring that up too, because I saw something on Facebook yesterday or the other day, and someone had named their kid Cruel.
Like Cruel?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and there was someone in the courts were trying to get them to change it because for the same reason. I only briefed by it. I didn't look at it completely, but I remember seeing a tag for that. And I'm like, my gosh, like, yeah.
Well, let me ask you again. Now, do you understand why the government should have some say?
Yeah.
Or at least parameters.
Yes.
Right?
Parameters.
Like,
yes,
they shouldn't review
sure.
every name. Yeah, we got enough Dougs in the area. You can't name us on that. No, of course
not.
not. That would be ludicrous. But
yeah.
Given some of the things that these parents wanted, like went to Lula does Lula
Like, so dumb.
I mean, that poor girl, man. There's no way she didn't get grief over that.
Yeah.
And then she wanted to change her own name. Well, damn straight.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it would be something like basic, like Cindy or something.
Ooh, with an S or
A Y.
No, but S at the beginning. So it's Yindy. Is that what it is? Yindy? Like an S or a C.
C.
And then at the end a Y or an I-E or a double E.
Y.
Double E.
Why?
Because we like you. Because you said Y. It's like,
I got it.
okay.
I got it.
But yeah, I mean, some of those are.
I didn't like my name when I was young.
I think you have a cool name.
I like it now.
You should, but you go by a shortened version here.
Yeah,
well,
I know.
I don't. Well, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, I know.
But I like your full name.
Yeah, I didn't like it. And actually, I wanted my name to be Cindy. That was the name that I would have chose for myself.
With a SC or a Y? I'm going to call you Yindy from now on. Yeah, that's your new name. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind my name. I'm not against it. You know. My dad, I wish he would go by his full proper, like, first name.
What is it?
Because you know what his name is?
Yeah.
What?
Bert.
Yeah. But his full name is Albert. But
is it?
But I think he probably deviated from that because it was, I don't want to say too Mennonite because he has no, what do I say, no aversion or trepidation to his Mennonite background, nor should he.
Right.
Absolutely not. But that might be why, to kind of de-Mennonite a little bit. You know what I mean? But I think it's a cool name.
Yeah,
Albert. Yeah. It's a good name. Good name, dude.
Yeah.
Did you do 2 stories? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Right. So that's our stories for this week. It was good time.
I'm hungry now.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. You can tell them. Go ahead, tell them what you're supposed to tell them.
You guys know what I'm going to say.
Say it anyway.
Yeah.
Say it anyway.
You guys
By the way, if you don't listen to this part, you're going to miss the little Easter egg that we have in this episode. So go ahead, Mel. Sorry.
You guys should check out our website at theabsurdpodcast.ca. And from there, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram,
TikTok.
And TikTok. Yep. Absolutely. Actually, I should make sure that's posted on there now that I'm saying that out loud. I don't know if that's on our website.
You better.
But anyways, we are there. If you go
there.
look. And check us out on Spotify. Give us some 5 stars in all the places. And
yeah, wherever you
tell
listen.
us how much you love us.
Oh, please. Even if you don't. Like, lie to us.
Yeah.
You know. But no, most importantly, please continue listening and share it with others. You know, we're into year 2 here. We want to keep this action rolling. And everybody likes to hear that that their efforts are enjoyed. You know, and appreciated. So yeah.
If you got any suggestions, comments, things you want us to talk about or not talk about. We won't listen to that part,
no.
But if you got some stuff to share with us, you want to come on the show and share something, we are open to all of that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
But there are you have to wear pants.
Yeah, well,
we'll actually I'll take that on a case by case basis.
Depends on who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends what she looks like.
Yeah. Why is it a she?
I just assumed.
So dudes have to wear pants, but
girls
can't?
I didn't say they can't. They won't be girls, they'll be women. My God, woman. Yeah, so anyway, do please continue to listen and please share with some others, and we will be back next week.
Yes, we will.
Right. So why don't you take care of yourselves and one another.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Beer.
P.S. There is no Easter egg.
The Absurd Podcast is written, produced, and recorded by Rod and Mal. Music by Audionautics.com.